Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where we are going to get our Bandersnatch done at the same time that the Grasshopper gets repaired. And that is absolutely perfect. Morgan Kell needs Dr. Murad to study a rare piece of lost tech. It'll cost us 500,010 mech tech skill. We do have some time to do it. You know what? Let's do it. So we gain a Slick Suite, we gain an AR-24 sheathed beacon, and an NAIS targeting computer. But we do suffer a -10 tech point penalty for 7 days. Okay, so that's reasonably fine. That is going to delay us a bit on these repairs, but we have some time for it. It was good timing, all things considered. We did just finish our upgrade facility. Okay, what do we want next? We could work on some morale. We could work on our drive system. We could work on a vehicle drop size. That's really not very necessary. I think we'll increase our max drop tonnage. We are bringing up our drop tonnage by 20. So bringing it up by 50 will guarantee that we don't run into any issues there, but I don't think we would anyway. That, of course, is going to be done in 9 days, and the Bandersnatch and Grasshopper are going to be a little after that. Okay. So that finishes, and what other engineering upgrade do we want at this point? Well, we could certainly start thinking about recreational upgrades, and I think that's not a bad idea. We'll put in an arcade. Sounds good. So we can tick forward an additional 2 days here to get all of our mechs back. Now we can go through and do our upgrades. So we can promote Capo's piloting ability. Sounds good. Coach, you can grab a point of tactics. That'll be fine. We're going to need to use you probably, Coach. What else do we have? Tactics, forklift. Sounds good.
Orders. Good.
And beyond that, that is all we've got, actually. So let's just hop into the command center. We are below 10 million, but not very much. I'm immediately drawn to something like this with 6 and 27 salvage, but it's a target acquisition. We move broadly pretty slowly, and a target acquisition would be very dangerous for us. I think that's very clear with our current lance setup. Urban battle, defend base, urban environment. Urban battle. This is a blackout mission. I suppose we could do a blackout mission, but I'd rather see how it feels with our full lances good to go right now, right? Because we've got the new Marauder, we've got the new Bandersnatch. I'd like to see how it feels. So maybe we just go for this. It's a free priority salvage in the negative direction, so we can sit here, make back some of that money that we just spent. We're not going to get much salvage from it, but I think we're going to have to do this. There's not a lot of great options right now for missions. I want something relatively simple because I want to evaluate how it feels with our current lance setup. Also, this front armor is almost certainly actually here. This is probably a display error. Okay, so we're ready to do this, and Darius thinks it's going to be hard. He should be wrong about this one. This one should be pretty simple for us. I mean, he's wrong about most of them, but this one shouldn't be bad. I'll be back after the loading screen. Okay, so here we are all loaded up, and let's begin. So we'll see what we've got here. It should be a relatively simple mission. It's recommending deployment right at the edge of the map, and it's pretty mountainous, but we can move forward quite a lot here. I would like to deploy out over here if we can. This would be better LOS for us, but they're still possibly going to be scattered all over this, maybe behind here. It's really hard to say. I think for now we'll deploy here, and we'll see what we've got. Wait, did we just deploy with Plato? Ooh, he's wounded. I intended to swap him out for Coach. Okay. Yikes. We did not intend for that. Well, we'll see what we've got here. So we can see an Orion. We see a Mackie. Oh my, that's a very large and very terrible mech. We see an Epimetheus Prime, which actually... Don't we have 4 Epimetheus parts? think we do. We also see a Brutus here, and that's probably a priority target for our fire support. Okay, let's head on forward here. I'm going to sprint our Centaur as forward as we can to about here.
Accelerating to maximum speed.
I am concerned about Plato, no doubt about that. I did not intend to deploy with him, but I forgot to change him out. That's on me. If he dies,
Ready for
that's...
orders.
Hang on. Oh, okay. There's reinforcements out over here. We see a Rifleman, we see an Alicorn, we see an Igor, and we see a Shadowhawk. Okay, so I'm going to position the crossbow here.
On my way.
Noted. We should be able to clean these up relatively quickly. We do have allies, and we have numbers on them. No doubt about that. So that Shadowhawk advances forward, but we are kind of pincered at this moment. Okay, so the Epimetheus is positioning up over here. Sounds good.
Commander.
I think we're going to send the Marauder down this way.
Pulling off.
Fire support is probably going to be focusing on the ones we have LOS on right now. So this Orion is closing in. That's a great Centaur target. Yes, that is a phenomenal Centaur
What can
target.
I do for you?
So the Bandersnatch is going to position up over here for now, and we're going to brace, although we are vulnerable to a rear arc attack here. That Igor closes in a little bit. And next up would be our Grasshopper, which, of course, Plato has seen better days right now. I do wish that I'd swapped him, but for now it's okay. We're going to move the Rifleman up over here for now. And then Capo in the Black Knight is, I think, going to engage with the Marauder down this way for now.
Roger that.
Okay, something along those lines. So phase 13 movers, that's that Alicorn. And then they've got a Rifleman over there. The Mackie is moving up. The Mackie isn't a huge threat. That Brutus potentially is. Where did that position at? Here. With 7 evasive. Okay. I like it.
I've
So,
got your back.
Magus is going to position in the rear arc of this Orion.
Affirmative.
And this is probably a kill.
Copy.
And there it goes. Fantastic. -1 Orion. That's what we want to see. So next up is going to be an allied move. It's a pack rat, and it does not fire on anything. Phase 18, there is one enemy mover, and that is not the Igor. This Igor does need to get shot down. Shadowhawk moving up and attacking our Bandersnatch's rear arc. Okay. That's understood. They tagged us. That's fine.
Waiting for
So our
orders.
Bandersnatch moves now. And I want to advance up over here a little bit
You betcha.
and fire side arc into this Brutus, ideally. That said, hit odds are far better on the Mackie. If we do hit this side arc... No, I want it to be the Brutus. We need to hit the Brutus. So this is, of course, an overheat, and we're not going to fire a couple of these medium lasers. We were not anticipating firing all of the medium lasers at once, right? Those are backup weapons. The Bandersnatch will need heat upgrades, but we don't have them for now. So we're just whittling away at this Brutus's side armor. It moves in phase 15. So a J. Edgar moves up, and next up would be our hoplite. We have a decision to make here. Well, we don't actually want to fire this, or we don't actually want to move the hoplite. So the decision is, do we fire on the Mackie and maybe get splash damage on all of them, or do we go directly on the Brutus? I think we go directly on the Brutus here, firing indirect fire, and maybe even firing the chaff countermeasures. Do it. Okay. Good hits on the Brutus. The Brutus moves next round, so it moves right now. We did soften it up significantly. So we'll see what it does. It should turn its strong side towards us at this time. But we'll see. I would have preferred that we kill it before this point, but we did not. So it positions there and fires on our Bandersnatch. Okay. That's reasonably expected.
Whoa! Easy on the armor, buddy.
Okay. So the Bandersnatch is attracting a lot of fire, but it has a lot of armor. So I'm not too concerned about that right now. The Rifleman can move up here, and the Bandersnatch did not turn its weak side away from us. We don't have the best of hit odds here, but we'll give it a go. And it's just gone. Beautiful.
Tango
So,
down.
at this point, I want to take a look at the rear arc armor of these units up over here. So the Mackie has very low rear arc armor. The Epimetheus has higher rear arc armor.
Need something?
But I think at this time, our crossbow turns around and starts firing on this Igor.
Target confirmed.
Okay. We managed to hit a number of missiles there. The Igor is going to move, and this could be potentially painful. No doubt about it. But the Rifleman is going to move up over this way. We'll see what it decides to do. Fires on the Pack Rat. Okay, we love this. That's absolutely great. That is not our unit. He also missed all of those shots. Next up is going to be the Alicorn, and the Alicorn is a bit threatening to us. No doubt about it. We'll see what it does, but the Igor moves first. Ow. Definitely ow.
I can't take much more of this.
But that's not so bad,
Major
all
armor
things
loss.
considered. Now, does the Alicorn get LOS here? Oh, the Mackie moves next. Okay. Fires on our Centaur. It gets very little done there. That's okay. There are better targets it could have chosen, I think. Now the Alicorn is going to move, I think. Or is this the Epimetheus? This is actually the Epimetheus. So that moves up and fires also on our Centaur, managing to hit 2 of those AC-10s, which is unfortunate. Or that's probably a UAC-10? Yes, that is a UAC-10.
Waiting for
Okay.
orders.
Our Black Knight is going to advance down over this direction. We're a little bit concerned about taking fire from that Alicorn,
Got it, Commander.
but we should be okay for the time being, anyway. Checking in on these hit odds. Hit odds are best on the Shadowhawk. We may stray shot the Alicorn. The Alicorn needs to be focused from here.
Roger that.
But we're going to do what we can here. Hit odds are not great. We are in cover, so that will help us. And the Alicorn moves now. I believe these to be triple Gauss. We'll see how it does. Probably for going for the crossbow. Actually, it didn't
Ready for
fire.
orders.
Fascinating. So I'm going to take the Grasshopper back this direction. We're going to pot shot at the Igor. I don't expect to get much out of this, but if we do hit with the AZ-20, we probably would shoot it down, right? Not necessarily, but likely.
Confirmed.
We did not hit with the AC-20, but we did trigger its AMS, so that's absolutely fine. Next up is going to be our Marauder. Now, the Marauder is going to hop down over this direction. It does not have LOS on the Alicorn. We can fire on the Igor, we can fire on the Shadowhawk. The Shadowhawk is the obvious choice.
Full weapon. Go.
Okay, so we're chipping down that Shadowhawk's armor. Next up is going to be our Centaur, and the Centaur is going to make its way up over this direction. This is out of LOS, unfortunately, so we're just going to have to position up over here. The Pack Rat is moving in and not doing anything of note.
Commander?
Next up would be our Bandersnatch, and I want the Bandersnatch to step back a little bit over here. There is all this fire
Right,
over
Commander.
here, which is not ideal, but we're just not going to fire the ER medium lasers, and we're just going to fire the LRMs at this Igor. We may or may not shoot it down here. It's, I think, pretty unlikely, but triggering the AMS is good enough. Wow, they move 5 things in round 16, including the Igor again? Yikes. That's an awkward roll for us. So they're doing a bunch of damage to the Black Knight. That's reasonably expected. We are in cover for the moment. But having this split focus is definitely awkward for us. And the fact that we couldn't get up into an attack posture with our Centaur, that's very awkward. So this round is potentially going to be relatively painful. Particularly this Igor. Its armor is dwindling, but let's see what it goes for here. Rear arc on the hoplite. Hitting the Bandersnatch there. Okay.
Reporting. structural damage.
Yeah, there was some internal damage there, but I think that was through armor. I don't think that was real structural damage. But the Bandersnatch is taking a lot of hits, no doubt about it. So the Shadowhawk moves up, also engages the Black Knight. That Alicorn is still very concerned. And we don't know technically when it moves, but like all of their units are moving in phase 16. Except for the Mackie, which is moving in phase 13. So I'm pretty sure that that includes the Alicorn. Yep, here it comes. Ow. Through armor LRM 20 crit on the crossbow. Now we can focus on this Alicorn though, and it obligingly presented its left flank to us. The Epimetheus moves up and fires ow on that Bandersnatch. Like I said, this round is going to be painful. Okay, so next up, we need to move our Grasshopper up over this way. Shooting down the Igor is a high priority. Shooting down destroying the Alicorn would be a high priority as well. This is more of a pot shot than anything. And yeah, we got very little done there. We're having a really hard time hitting the Alicorn. I didn't look at why our hit odds were so low there, but they absolutely were. And our allies have been very unhelpful. This guy only has 4 evasive, so I would not expect all that much. The Hoplite is going to move out over here, or actually here.
On my way.
And we need to fire on this Igor in flak mode. Yes, we're going to overheat. We need to do what we can to this Igor. We have to eliminate their damage output. The Igor and the Alicorn are incredibly high priorities right now. So our crossbow has taken quite a lot of damage. The crossbow is a little close to that Igor. Ooh, I don't like these positions. This is a better position. So we're going to back off the crossbow a little bit here. And we're going to fire on the Igor. Low hit odds here. We failed our sensor roll. Of course we did. Okay, let's see what we get done here. Oh, man. We're having a really hard time here. So the Rifleman has to turn around. And we have to fire on this Igor. Yeah, there's just 10 evasive here. But we need to eliminate it.
Acknowledge.
We missed everything. Okay. The Igor and the Alicorn are very high priority right now. And they gotta go. The Marauder is going to move in to this Alicorn. And this is kind of a desperation move to charge the Alicorn here. But we're going to take it. I don't like charging, but we got to do it. Okay. So that's a fair amount of damage to that Alicorn. The Mackie moves up and fires rear arc on our Bandersnatch, which is painful. No doubt about that. Okay. Next round is our Black Knight. The Black Knight needs to position about here and is looking to continue to hit this Alicorn. Now, these are good hit odds, and we could destroy it here, but I think it's unlikely. We are weakening his armor, though. Okay, next round. The Alicorn is phase 16 again, which is mildly painful. But we need to get in behind the Mackie here. We're looking for the kill on the Mackie, and this should be it.
Confirmed. To hell with the weapon.
Okay, so that's a successful melee.
Follow my lead.
Ooh, we didn't eliminate the Mackie.
Punch right through his
It was so close. So close. Our damage spread out a lot there, though. Okay. Well, we'll continue to work on that for the moment. And our Bandersnatch, we need to get out of this fire. We're very concerned about continuing to take rear arc damage from everybody. We need to position up over here and hit this Igor. These hit odds are so low. We failed our sensor roll. Of course we did. Why wouldn't we fail our sensor roll? Okay. Everybody's failing their sensor roll in this critical time period. Now the Igor gets to move again. Oof. This is going so poorly. Our Bandersnatch might die on its first round. Or rather, on its first time out. That would be really awkward. Okay, it's going for the hoplite here. That's kind of lucky for us. Because the hoplite still has relatively fresh armor.
Internal damage.
Okay, who else do they move in phase 18? The Alicorn moves in phase 16. It's the Epimetheus. And that's going for this Chasseur. We like this. This is very good. Our first couple of rounds went excellently, but we've had very awkward luck since then. So, I'm just wondering, yeah, all of these guys rolled to move after the Alicorn, which is very awkward. The Rifleman moves the same round as the Alicorn, but I don't think that helps us at all.
It's good to go.
So the Rifleman can position out over here. I feel like this doesn't help us in the slightest. We could look to fire on that Igor, but the hit odds are so low. I think instead we basically have to move out over this direction. That is turning strong side to them. And then we could fire on the Mackie or on the Epimetheus. I think we fire on the Mackie and just look for the knockdown on it. This is a huge amount of heat, of course. Even if we knock down the Mackie, it may or may not die. But we do get the knockdown on it. So that's something, anyway. Okay. Noted. So J. Edgar's moving up here and not really doing anything of note. Now that Alicorn moves, and the Alicorn is, of course, a significant threat to us, we will have it eliminated soon. The question is, how much damage will it get done this round? Unlike our Bandersnatch, that would be very bad. Okay, it goes for the Black Knight there, and it didn't move. It didn't move.
Standing by.
Which means that the Black Knight can move in here and kick it in its weakened flank. Technically, this is front arc, but that's also weakened. So let's see what we get done here.
Position confirmed.
Successful melee. Kind of awkward rolls on the weapon attacks afterwards, but that's okay. So a Chasseur moves up and attacks the Epimetheus and gets nothing done there. That's fine for the moment. So phase 15, that's going to be this Shadowhawk. I think the Marauder finishes the Alicorn with its melee. So the rest of these guys, yeah, that's a rear arc attack on the Marauder. That's not shocking. They did tag the Marauder.
They've blown past
Of course,
my
us being flanked like this is very, very awkward, but we chose this position, so what are you going to do? I'm going to move the crossbow out over this way, and we're going to continue to try to fire on that Igor. We don't need a lot of damage on this Igor to take it down. However, our hit odds are so low. We failed our sensor roll yet again. Okay. Of course we did. So we're going to hit the Igor here, and the Hoplite is also going to fire on the Igor with the flak gun. We need to do as much damage as we can. I'm not going to fire the ER medium laser, but beyond that, everything. That's a lot of internal damage into the Igor,
Scored a critical hit.
but it's still up.
SRMs are out.
Okay. So next up would be our Marauder. The Marauder needs to head around to the front side of this Alicorn because it's vulnerable to rear arc attacks. But we are going to definitely hit the Alicorn in the front arc here. I kind of expect the Alicorn to die to this one. Structure exposure. And there it goes. Okay, so the Alicorn is out of here. That's a very big deal.
Tango down.
Next up is our
Yes, Commander.
Grasshopper. If we take the Grasshopper out here, hit odds are incredibly low. So instead, we're going to look to engage the Shadowhawk here.
Rolling.
Hit odds are still incredibly low. We failed our sensor roll. Of course we did. Okay. We are rolling incredibly badly.
Got it.
But let's just see what we get done there. Literally nothing. Okay, at least the Alicorn is down. What we really need at this point... Okay, our allies are starting to actually fire on the enemies, but they are not doing anything at this juncture. So that's the Mackie getting up. It doesn't have much rear arc armor left. Let's see where it goes. And then it goes for the Bandersnatch. Okay. Noted.
That got through my armor, Commander.
Okay, next round. So, where exactly did that Mackie move to? Here. So that basically means if we want to maintain evasive, it's going to be about the same either way. These are very, very close together. We can go for the rear arc on the Epimetheus, although that does have a fair amount of armor there. I think that we go for the Mackie kill here. Is this rear arc? Yes. Okay. We go for the Mackie kill here, and that makes this guy into kind of bait for the Epimetheus. So let's hit that. That takes out a leg for the Mackie with the melee attack. And the Mackie's dead. Beautiful. That is exactly what we expected. Okay, Pack Rat moves up, does not fire. Phase 18. What moves? I think this is probably the flying unit. The Igor? Okay, no, it's not the Igor. This is the Shadowhawk. Gotcha. Okay, so what's the Shadowhawk going to do here? It closes in a bit and fires on the crossbow rear arc with flamers. Noted.
I'm under heavy fire.
Okay. So being flanked is, of course, a problem. No doubt about that. Phase 18 is an allied unit. So a Chasseur moves up and fires on that Epimetheus. I think it hit that. Phase 17 is now when that Igor is going to move. And this is definitely a threat to us. It's almost certainly going to attack the Bandersnatch. Wait a sec.
Watch my six.
It went for the Black Knight rear arc. That's not a good move. It should not have gone for the Black Knight here. Okay. That's good for us. It still has 11 evasive. But our hoplite can position here and can launch another Thumper artillery attack on the Igor. This is likely going to shoot it down.
I'm on it.
Or we could do almost no damage into the actual exposed area. That works too. Next up would be our Bandersnatch, and the Bandersnatch absolutely needs to continue to head in over here. The Igor's AMS is out of ammo. So let's see what we can get done here.
Got it.
Man, no internal damage to the Igor there. Its internal damage is on the left side. So that'll actually be out over here, so I guess that's not surprising.
Standing by.
The crossbow is going to close in over here. We're going to continue to fire at the Igor with SAM missiles. Man, these hit odds are low. We failed our sensor roll again. Of course we did. Okay. Eventually we'll take this Igor down.
I'm ready.
The Black Knight should probably advance down over this direction. I'm thinking the Grasshopper engages the Shadowhawk, and the Black Knight engages the Rifleman here. So, what do we got going on here? Okay, ECM jamming. Sure. So we'll start to laser some armor off of this Rifleman. That seems fine for now. But we are doing very awkwardly at this moment. We need to get this Igor eliminated. It has so little left. This J. Edgar just moved in a completely useless direction. Okay, helpful. Phase 14 is going to be this Rifleman moving. So it's almost certainly going to attack our Black Knight here, I think. Yes. The Black Knight's armor is weakening. And it got a head hit. Okay.
Hit.
So next up will be our Rifleman. The Rifleman, I don't think we want to attack the Epimetheus here. We could position here, and we can choose to fire on the Shadowhawk, or we can fire on the Igor. And I think we pot shot the Igor here.
Got it.
We did manage to hit it, and we did a lot of internal damage, but it's still alive. The Epimetheus moves up and goes for the Centaur, which is exactly what we wanted it to do. That was the bait. Beautiful. Okay, so that means we don't have to worry about flanking attacks this round. Phase 12, and that is that Royal Conga moving up, firing on the Epimetheus. It did get some hits there into that side arc, or was that rear arc? Either way, softening up that side. Yep, a little bit of rear arc softening there. I like it. So we're going to move up and attack the Shadowhawk here in the rear arc. We're going to kick it. Of course we failed our sensor roll again. Okay, so we're just going to make our way on up.
Engaging.
We missed our melee attack, which was like a 70% chance. That means we're going to miss almost everything here. Yeah, that went badly. No doubt about that. We needed to hit that melee attack if that attack was going to be successful. The Marauder can move down this way. Do we have anyone that we haven't moved yet? No. So the Marauder needs to come over here and fire on this Igor. We have to do some damage to it, and we're going to fire every weapon we have. And we missed every weapon we had.
Failed to connect.
Okay.
I'll break it.
We are rolling so very, very awkwardly right now. So we're going to hit this Epimetheus in the rear arc with our physical attack. We're not expecting necessarily a kill out of this, but we'll do a lot of damage to it. So successful melee there.
Follow my lead.
And we actually did get a kill out of it. Beautiful. So we managed to destroy the engine with a crit there. That's solid. That means there's no longer any flank attacks to be worried about. However, when does that Igor move? If we can get down here. It moves phase 15? Hang on, we can actually shoot it down. Okay, we finally rolled okay on the initiative. So the Shadowhawk backs off here and is going to, what, rear arc attack our side arc attack our crossbow. Structure exposure there. Lower arm destruction, foot destruction, hip destruction. So the crossbow's armor is definitely getting weak.
Good to go.
The Bandersnatch is going to close in on the Igor, and we're going for the kill here. Yet another sensor roll failure. Does one of these mechs have a really nasty ECM or something? Okay, well there's the Igor shot down. Maybe it was the Igor that was causing all of these sensor failures, but we've had a ridiculous amount of sensor roll failures. Okay, so at this point, the crossbow is going to position out over this direction. We want to protect our right-hand side, which means we basically need to sprint and position more along the lines of this.
Copy.
And we're going to fire on the Shadowhawk here, but I'm not expecting too much out of this. Yeah.
Taking the shot.
It's not going to go so well. We've still failed our sensor roll. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. But our hoplite can position about here for the moment, and we can drop an artillery on this rifleman in artillery mode and sink a little bit of heat. Okay, so we did some damage to the rifleman. Looks good. Hopefully next round we can start actually getting some sensor rolls. That would be nice. Let's just position out over to this flank and fire on this Shadowhawk. Once again, is this a sensor roll failure? Yes, it is. Okay. Well, we did a little damage to the Shadowhawk there. Phase 15 is now going to be this rifleman. And let's see what it does. It's going to probably attack the Black Knight. Rear arc attacks on the Grasshopper. And it broke through the armor there. I think. Yes. Yes, it did. Okay. So next up, the Grasshopper wants to get in behind this Shadowhawk, this side, and we can only punch. We can't kick from this angle. Does that mean that we want to take a side arc attack or even a front arc attack here? We can kick from this angle. This angle is slightly more dangerous for this guy, but I think we'll get in behind him pretty easily. Let's risk it. We have a 70% chance of hit here. And we did manage to successfully melee the Shadowhawk. Okay, that's a big deal. We missed our AC-20, though. Which is not great. Did we stray shot anybody with it? Hopefully not.
Ready for order.
Next up would be our Black Knight. The Black Knight is going to get into rear arc of this rifleman. Actually, it's going to be side arc, unless we wanted to punch. I guess a punch is okay. That would mean we wouldn't use any of our large lasers. We haven't yet moved our Marauder over here. Let's just kick him from this side arc. I prefer kicks.
Push my weight into
So
it.
successful kick into the leg there. The rifleman is now unsteady, and we just light him up. Excellent. Good armor reduction there. Phase 14 allied turn. Our allies have been almost entirely useless, but the Chasseur moves up and does get a rear arc attack on that rifleman that time. So that's good. And then our Marauder can close in... Is this uninterrupted? Yes, it is. We can close in to be over here and fire on that rifleman. Almost certainly we want to fire on the rifleman here. So let's light him up. This is going to be front arc, but that's probably okay. We've weakened him quite a lot. Structure exposure there.
Onward.
Okay, so the
No
rifleman has
retreat.
taken heavy damage, as has the Shadowhawk. Rear arc attack there on that Shadowhawk. Engine XL crits, gyro crits. That looks pretty good. Our allies finally getting some damage in. Okay, so when do they roll? They roll 17 and 15.
You've got my attention.
Noted. We do still have some LRMs, so we can sprint in with our Centaur over this direction. We don't get LOS, but we can fire side arc on either of these. We would be hitting the left side for both of them. I think we fire on the Shadowhawk.
Confirmed.
Okay, that was purely armor damage, but that's okay.
LRMs are out.
The Shadowhawk is now panicked. An ally is going to move here, phase 19, and I'm not sure exactly where they're going to go. Ah, rear arc attack? Sure. Sadly, just a medium laser that misses. Okay. So, now we get to move. Who do we get to move? Our Marauder. I like it. So the Marauder is going to move in here and go for their rifleman. This is very possibly a kill. That was not great shooting, to be honest. But we did manage to do a lot of damage to the rifleman and take some guns off of the field. So that is good. This pack rat is going to move up and not do anything at all. Now the rifleman is going to move. Who's it going to shoot at? The Marauder, and it misses. Okay, beautiful. I think that we did indeed have some sort of a nasty ECM in that Igor, is my current guess. Hit odds seem to be improving anyway. That said, this is only 47% here. Yeah, we filled our sensor roll here again. Okay, well, let's just fire on this Shadowhawk. Front arc there. I was hoping for a knockdown, but we got a pilot ejection, so that's absolutely fine. Now all we need to do is eliminate this rifleman, which is kind of the Black Knight's job. Okay, that's a little bit of rear arc damage there from our ally. The Bandersnatch can lob some indirect LRMs into this side arc. We'll take it.
Right, Commander.
That's a lot of internal damage there.
That's a critical.
So we
hit.
definitely took a lot of damage from this, and some of it was because we were flanked, but honestly, a lot of it is because we've had some really, really spicy rolls here. That was a lot of failed sensor rolls. I suspect it has something to do with an ECM. That pilot does eject, so we are done. But yeah, that was an intense one. No doubt about that. We took a lot of damage, but nothing major, actually. We took a whole lot of armor damage, a little bit of internal damage, but no significant components lost. Only things that are easily replaceable. But we definitely took a lot of damage. We may want to think about getting that Epimetheus, because, as I said, I believe we have 4 Epimetheus parts. So I believe we only need 1 Epimetheus part. Let's double check that. Yeah, Epi Prime, 4. Now that is a low-tech mech. And we're not going to take the full Epi Prime. But let's just get ourselves an Epi Prime part, like that. Then we could go for not a Mackie. We're not going to take a Mackie part here. Clan ER large lasers. I mean, that's pretty decent. UAC 10 clan. Clan Endo Steel. Double heatsink kit. A single double heatsink. Okay. Let's just grab the clan UAC 10. Oh, we only have one priority salvage. Never mind on that. Okay. I don't think we're actually getting the UAC 10. I think that's just a bug. We got a Mackie part, which is hilarious. And let's get rid of that ammo fluid acid. Okay. We got some medium laser diverse optics, 4 of them. So I guess that's okay. But yeah, we took a lot of damage from that. I expect this to be 250, 300, maybe even 400. It was a lot. And some of our mechs are going to require further repairs beyond what Yang will do, but it won't be much. So that'll be fine. Our mechs that took internal damage will want to prioritize here. So that would be the Bandersnatch in particular. I think the Grasshopper, the Marauder. Broadly, our armor held, but it was a close thing. If that had rolled slightly differently, it could have gone very, very, very badly. In terms of, like, enemy targeting points, right? It also could have gone exceptionally well if it had rolled slightly differently in our favor and we'd been able to shoot down that Igor very quickly. Yeah, about 400k. I'm not surprised about that. We took a lot of damage, but it wasn't anything significant. So that seems pretty decent. We can do something about, like, this, and that seems good. But it is past time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to get these repairs done. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of, I'm very distracted now, apparently, in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time. I jumped the gun a little bit on jumping to a black screen, apparently.